Yes, spider leg bottom, boys. Feels good to not be 250 dry on that again. And yeah, that was timely as well, because 1 hour until bottom path closes, so I'm going to try and get another one, as unlikely as that sounds, given my track record with this bottom path. Yes! Oh my god. 3 minutes. 3 minutes till path 3 closes. Maybe I was a bit loud there, but today's my lucky day, guys. 3 minutes before path 3 closes, I needed 2 spider leg bottoms, and I get both of them within like 50 minutes, 45 minutes, something like that. Unbelievable. Wow. 2 middles to go, and I can start my middle hunt in 3 minutes. And with that little bit of luck, guys, I welcome you to another Zen's Araxxor story. This has to be the umpteenth Araxxor video I've made. Not without reason, mind you. There's always a reason, be it ranting or philosophical. This one's a bit more philosophical, but it's all geared towards one ultimate goal: getting that base pet so that I can get the Insane Final Boss series started, because the promise I made to you guys was that, a promise I made to myself as well, that I wouldn't start the Insane Final Boss series until I got the base pet. And so far that hasn't happened, but I have had quite a ride recently. So just a bit of a background to those 2 spider leg bottoms. I had gone 250 kills dry on the spider leg bottom previously. So when I decided to go do the bottom path 1 hour before it closed, trying to get to match the 2 tops I had in my bank, I was in no way, shape or form hoping to get the 2 bottoms, which I eventually did. So it was an amazing feeling of relief, as well as knowing that my account wasn't rigged to be incredibly dry. It's just RNG. It's always just RNG except the base pet, because my account will never get the base pet. It's like Neo from the Matrix, guys. I'm the Neo of never seeing the base pet, right? If that made any sense. Probably didn't, but I'm just going mad. Let's get to the point. So what those 2 bottom leg pieces gave me was the freedom to be able to hunt the middle leg piece to my heart's content. And this is something I had not had previously, because I'd always been incredibly lucky with the middle leg piece. So I was always stuck with long periods of camping the top and the bottom path, which was absolutely no fun at all. But now this gave me the chance to camp the middle path, which is a lot more fun, especially with the melee setup and the scythe, as well as the nihils. Now this is something I hadn't done in almost a year, I think. I sort of gave up on melee Araxxor because 1, I didn't need any more middles, and 2, I knew that maging would give you a higher chance of the fang, even though I've only got 1 fang and 4 eyes and 1 web from maging. I began what I left off, and by god did I miss it. Melee Araxxor with a scythe, brawlers or berserker aura, a blood nihil, and most important of all, a scrimshaw of vampirism is absolutely fantastic. You can chill out so much with all the auras. I guess crackling and aftershock are a bit of a pain at higher enrages, but I just wanted to show you the absolute beauty and the rhythm of getting on a roll with melee Araxxor, because I really did miss how good it was in terms of how little food he used up. If you knew the rotation, which I do by this point, 2.2k kills in. But most important of all, I really did forget how little risk he took in meleeing Araxxor with his side. The fact that you're 2 squares away makes a massive difference compared to back in the day when I used to use Drygors to melee the boss, and that actually left a bad taste in my mouth, because I'd die a lot, especially phase 4 where you had to switch between melee and mage very quickly, much quicker than you do if you're 2 or more squares away, which is what you are with the scythe. And because of this, you can streak some kills together, something which I'm not accustomed to, because if you don't know me, I tend to die a lot at Araxxor, mainly because I like to take risks and I'm not very good on the other paths. So that's one of the reasons this hasn't been my most enjoyable boss. It's been more of a grind than something I do for enjoyment until now, and I suppose this is what it feels like to be able to do high enrage Telos or streaking Telos for that orb and that dormant and that reprisal. Having said all that though, you don't completely mitigate all the risks of not having to deal with mirrorbacks, because there is that deadly acidic spider you have to deal with, especially on the ramp while you're waiting for the ramp to decay away. I really don't like having to wait for things. That's not a mechanic I think should be put into the game, and thankfully it isn't for the most part for bosses that came out after Araxxor. But anyway, that's quite annoying. Sometimes you do have to just either cade or just use up your sign trying to tank that highly acidic spider, unless you want to go back down and do all that again. But having said all that, I think for the most part this boss is predictable. If you've got a very nice set of rotations going, people talk about Talos being very predictable, and that's why people can streak it for such large numbers of kills, along with the help of Signs of Lives and the Desert Pantheon aura, of course. But until now, I really did underestimate how that could be applied to Araxxor as well. The main reason being there are no mirrorbacks and all those kinds of spiders, minions to worry about, which can annoy you. But secondly, your accuracy is actually pretty damn good with a Nihil and a Brawler or Berserker aura. Granted that I think you'll have to take a 1 hour break in between these two auras after you extend them, because it'll take an extra hour to recharge or something like that. But still, you can do 3 hours of chilled Araxxor, maybe get 30 kills in or something. You don't use up ridiculous amounts of brews and rocktails, so you save money in that regard. And say on average you die say once an hour, then you will never have to use any Desert Pantheon aura charges, and you will just be using the Signs of Life effects. So you could get 30 kills in 3 hours without actually losing any money or time through deaths. And that might sound pretty obvious given what I've just told you, but the key point is that usually when you get really fast kills, you're also risking a lot. But with this method, there are very few ways you can actually die. If you use a pheromone and reset when you start to get a bit dodgy in terms of kills, and assuming the only way you're actually going to die is through assaulting on a web shield, which shouldn't happen if you can predict it, which you should be able to. And secondly, you get a bad acidic spider spawn and you either don't spot it until the last moment, or you decide to just tank it, because why not? Because sometimes when you're running away from it, it doesn't actually KO you. It actually hits you like half your max health or something like that. I think it's a new phase of my base pet hunt where I'm just going to go into chill out mode on middle path. Doesn't matter how many middle pieces I have. I'm just going to keep camping the middle path until I get the base pet. For the most part anyway, until I realize I have 10 middle pieces and none of the others, and I probably should go and try and balance that out. But anyway, the reason for this is, number one, it is very chilled out and it's very fast at the same time. Number two, you use very little food like I mentioned, and this actually allowed me to go on quite incredible streaks where I just replaced my potions when I was banking without replacing my food, and saw how long I could go. I got 2 streaks of 6 in with a Nihil, which may not sound like a huge amount, but remember, I'm not actually tryharding here. I was just trying to streak by chilling out and taking it easy. But that also meant that the enrage went up pretty quickly, and any mistakes I made were magnified considerably at the higher enrages. Therefore, at higher enrages I used up food more and more quickly as I made more and more mistakes. Eventually I tried to bite off more than I could chew, and I died when Araxxi was at 3k HP because I ran out of food, and that was on my 7th attempted kill. That was quite annoying, but that's what happens when you're trying to show off. So what I probably should have done is just banked every kill, because why not? It's not like you're wasting any time. If you're banking for potions, you might as well bank for food as well. The downside to this method, especially if you don't want to die, is that you're going to have to spend quite a bit on pheromones if you're just going to be camping middle path on 2-3 like I want to do and I've been doing, because in order to minimize risk and make sure it's still chilled out without having to put too much effort into making sure you don't die to something stupid like a mistimed hurricane with a mirrorback out. Wait, that doesn't happen in 2-3. I mean, when it's web shielding and stuff like that, you want to make sure you use a pheromone. Well, I want to make sure I use a pheromone at around 240%. Once I get better, I guess I'll be able to do it when I'm at 300%. Even not at all, I guess, because if you're in a good enough rhythm, you don't notice enrage going up. It's just like you just keep doing kills, you know? You're at 300% enrage, you just keep doing 300% enrage kills. But the slightest distraction can break you out of that rhythm. So, you know, it's a fine balance. And another thing is that the scriptural vampirism is what saves me most of the time. So I was actually unable to make another one. I had to buy it from the GE for the last hour of 2-3 when I was doing 2-3, when I was doing this method. Got 21 kills in on the last day of 2-3 on the 19th of March. And what I found was that there's a nice little merching opportunity here, because a lot of people are desperate to insta-buy scrimshaws of vampirisms when they're doing middle path farming kills and so on. So it might be a good idea to buy a load of these just after 2-3 ends and sell them off during the 4 days of path 2 and 3 being open again. So yeah, that's something I found out. Nice opportunity there. Also good to stock up on scrimshaws of vampirism. The downside to this method is that I'm not re-rolling. I've given up on that. I had a phase where I was re-rolling every other drop, but these days I only re-roll toadstools, well, dwarf wheat seeds I guess, because they're not worth anything. And yeah, I want to actually make some money from this boss because I don't do much else apart from this raids and sometimes AOD, so can't afford to re-roll, not anymore, even though re-rolling technically gives you a 3 times chance of getting the pet, because, well, you have a 1 times chance of getting the pet as soon as you kill Araxxi, and then a further 2 times chance of getting the pet when you re-roll. So in total you have a 3 times chance of getting the pet if you re-roll, as opposed to not re-rolling, which is quite a revolution because I hadn't thought of that before that way. Guess I'm hosting Yaka, guys. I just told my friend that yeah, if I get a middle I will host Yaka, and yeah, that's the second time it's happened. Last time was a long time ago. Okay, he's logged up. We're good, guys, we're good. You don't have to do Yaka. Not only is that the second time that's ever happened, but it's also the second time it's happened with the middle piece, first of all, and second of all, the very next kill after I say that I will host something or I will join someone for something, I get the middle piece. So it might actually be a good trick to use. Unfortunately, I need to tell people the opposite from now on, because here's hoping I don't get another middle piece for a while, because if I do, that will balance out my leg pieces and I'll have to make spider legs, and if I keep getting more middles, then eventually down the line I'll have to do the other 2 paths. So I know this might seem like a really strange request, but Jagex, please don't give me any more middle pieces than I need. I'm just here to get the base pet. Just give me the base pet, let me get out of here, let me move on with my life. So yeah, I'm looking forward to this. That's the plan anyway, for the most part, camping path 2 on 2-3, but I wouldn't be averse to doing some mage kills during the other rotations where I need to camp 1 and 3, and that's exactly what I did to help out my friend Wildman18 Dew to finally retrim after 2 months. So grats to him, I guess. It's been a very long 2 months of trying to get Reaper points for him in order to buy all the rewards back to retrim, and unfortunately he's going to lose his salty title next week alongside me, because the high armor of hand-to-hand weapons are going to become salty requirements next week. So I'm going to try and get that one done as well while I can. I've got like 5 days or so in order to get that done, and I also need to prepare for the luck rework by stocking up on fortunate components, but that's going to be covered in another video. I hope you enjoyed this mini update slash philosophical rant slash planning for the base pet video. Hopefully the next time I make an Araxxor video, it's to do with how I got the base pet and how I'm quitting the game finally. Yeah, that's never going to happen, guys. Why is it never going to happen? Here's why. If we say that in a normal kill your pet chance is A on killing Araxxi, then if you do a max pet chance kill, as I outlined in my guide, I guess, on how to do it, by running around the room and increasing your enrage by 540% from what you started the kill at, then you can get it up to a chance twice of that of a normal kill. If you reroll on top of that, you can get it up to 4 times on the reroll. A factor of 2 from running around the room when Araxxi is at low HP, and a further factor of 2 from the fact that you're rerolling. So in total, your pet chance when you do a max pet chance kill is 6 times your pet chance if you do a normal kill. 6 times. I did not realize this earlier, guys, but doing some simple maths, I do realize it now. And you might think, well, that basically means you should be doing that more often. Why aren't you doing that? It's because I did hundreds of kills of that and I still didn't get the base bet, and I got trolled with rolling 3s and 6s and 5s so many times. So I'm beginning to think that my account is just cursed to never get the base pet. Of course, it's not as simple as that. That's only your pet chance per kill, not your pet chance per hour, because doing a max enrage kill will increase your kill time significantly. If you take that into account, say you do a 5-minute kill normally, which will be extended to 7.5-minute kill by running around the room in P4, then doing the maths and averaging it all out, instead of a 6 times increase, it's a 4 times increase if you do max enrage re-rolling kills averaged over time compared to a normal killing strategy where you loot and you don't re-roll and you don't run around the room in P4. However, of course, doing normal kills will get you some money per hour, call it B. Doing a max pet chance kill will get you absolutely no loot per hour, and in fact you're probably going to lose more money because you're going to use up more food in trying to run around the room and avoiding the core and getting hit massively by Araxxi, and potentially also waste kills because of dying in P4 due to the huge amount of risk you have to take. So all in all, it's up to you to decide whether a 4 times normal pet chance without any loot and with the chance of dying quite frequently is worth it. For me, I've given up on that, and I'm definitely going with option 1, guys. So there's a lowdown on the maths side of things, and I hope this new era, this new age of Araxxocene reaps some pretty nice rewards pretty soon. Otherwise it might be a very long wait until episode 1 of the Insane Final Boss series.